I honestly just don't get it. Like, this isn't anything to do with YWC, by the way. This is just, honestly, I do not get this. This is going to be quick, but I'm going to share the screen for a quick moment, and I just want you guys to look at this. Like, this is honestly just a quick thing. Split gets us like I rarely ever get like ticked when I see a movie review score, especially in something, for example, like Ghostbusters. I saw that it was one of the most infuriating garbage movies I think I've ever seen in my entire life. It was absolutely shocking. It was stupid. It was garbage. It was possibly one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. And just a couple of days ago, I went to see Split. This is the new M. Night Shyamalan movie. Why is the score so high? 82% of the audience is liking it, and 74% of the people who are reviewers are enjoying this great masterpiece. I honestly don't get what it is for. It makes absolutely no sense to me in the slightest. 74% for a movie that says he has 23 different personalities and he's about to release a 24th personality that is going to be a monster or whatever, and it can rip things apart and eat people, and it's crazy. I don't get it. First off, in the movie, he only shows about 5. One of them is he says funny lines, and the moments where it's meant to be creepy and like really psychological thriller, it just comes off as laughable. James McAvoy was a shit actor in this movie. I honestly do not get why this has such a high rating. It makes absolutely no sense at all. The plot is that there is a guy who just kidnaps 3 teenagers. By the way, this has absolutely no build up at all. Absolutely none. Zero. Zilch. Nothing. No build up. It's just 3 girls at a party. And then one of them is like, oh, well, that girl over there, she's just so introvert and everything. And the dad's like, you know what, I'm going to take her home. And then James McAvoy comes along, gets in their car, and starts spraying them with this stupid crap. And by the way, the girl is in the passenger seat, so she could have like easily just tried to disarm him or just try and hit him. They prefaced this before in the movie when it's like started. I mean, further on, that she used to be hunting, so it's not like she's like that foreign to shooting something or hurting something. It makes absolutely no sense. You'd think she'd be more tough from that. It was shockingly bad. I honestly thought it was going to be an okay movie. This is shockingly bad. The fact that this has 74% is absolutely mind-boggling, to say the least. It makes no sense at all. This was a complete garbage, stupid movie. I honestly don't get it. Triple X Return of fucking Xander Cage was better than Split. With Return of Xander Cage, you at least had the comedic factor of, oh my god, it's so bad and it's so cheesy, and the plot is so super thin that it works because it's catering to a demographic of people who just go action, but like it does it so well because it's almost making fun of itself. I'm not even kidding. It is that good. Honestly, I think you should check it out just for how terrible it is. It's satire, I think, about action movies, and it's great. But Split gets the 74% because it shows James McAvoy's acting range. It doesn't. It shows that he can do 4 characters. Split isn't like, look at this, an arm wrist clutching psychological thriller that is bound to render you breathless by the time the credits roll. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. By the way, there was also this one little side plot where the uncle of this young girl is like a pedophile or whatever. It honestly makes no sense because it honestly has no real bearing on the plot. It just shows that at the end she has cuts on her body, and James McAvoy is just like standing there with the monster, the beast or whatever, the 24th personality. And by the way, his voice sounds like a constipated old man. I'm not saying that for kicks. I'm not saying that as a joke. It literally sounds like that. He's like, It sounds like Ric Flair fucking coming down to the ring and just trashed. It is horrid. Just a terrible movie. By the time the credit, you know what's a good psychological thriller that keeps you on the side of your seat or whatever the fuck? Misery. Misery is a brilliant movie. It's psychological thriller 101. It's great because it sets up things. It sets up and it makes you feel tense and it has everything. It sets up everything and it really pays off in the end. With this movie, it has no setup, it has no build up, it's nothing, it's zilch, it makes no sense how this has a 74%. If this has a 74%, then I don't like. Then if we're going off of the fact of opposite day, fucking Manchester by the Sea should have a 0. Rogue. By the way, Rogue One's way too high, but fucking Split is a garbage movie. Don't watch it. It honestly sucks balls. James McAvoy has no acting range. The only person who could possibly pull off this role, like I was trying to think who could pull off this role, but you can't because it's just terrible material. The script is terrible. The payoff is terrible. Everything about it is terrible. The old lady, who's the psychiatrist, by the way, is a mediocre actor, and everybody that she surrounds herself with. James McAvoy has the most decent, mediocre to decent. I'm gonna even go close to mediocre when it comes to this movie. I honestly do not get why this has a 74%. It just shows how stupid the fucking movie industry is when it comes to reviewing nowadays. Because there's movies like this, and there's movies like Ghostbusters that are getting higher than 50% ratings. It makes no sense. I just wanted to. I don't even know why I'm making this because I don't know. I think it's just because this is just completely fucking stupid. I felt like I'm glad that I only paid $12 to see this fucking garbage, and even then, I think it's overpaying. I would have rather torrented it online. My God, this is a garbage movie. Don't watch it. That's all I can say. It boggles me to no end how people can think this is psychological thriller. It's a one guy doing silly voices, and then he'll tell a joke. And one thing that I think that this movie forgot was mainly when it came to, for example, I learned this a lot when I was doing a Alfred Hitchcock unit. The one thing that completely deflates your tension, your suspense, is comedy. Is laughter. Because if you don't have that, then guess what? You don't have a scary moment. You're just laughing. And one, they tried to put in jokes in there. And two, the performances are so laughable that you can't even take anybody seriously, including James McAvoy. Why this has such a high rating, it's been slapped to Rotten Tomatoes' fresh thing of approval, is beyond me. Fucking Batman vs. Superman is better than this movie. It was absolute garbage. I got no enjoyment. The only enjoyment that I actually got was how fucking terrible the performances were. It was shockingly bad. Don't watch it. Don't see it. Goodbye, everybody.